So, what is KUKA Xpert? Well, KUKA Xpert is our digital knowledge base for our products. KUKA Wikipedia or a KUKA Google, if you so like, which is accessible on the web through my.kuka, which we've mentioned earlier this week. So, what does actually KUKA Xpert contain, or the purpose of it? Well, it's there to help you, our customers, to minimize any downtimes by providing the correct information at the time needed, thereby increasing your efficiency. It is available 24/7, so you don't need to contact us during office hours or limited to office hours. We do everything to ensure that the content is of the highest quality. Our experts and our support personnel are working directly in KUKA Xpert as well. There are also such things as videos or work instruction, interactive information. So to make sure it's a tool to help you help yourselves. So a few examples of what we can expect to find here. Obviously, all types of documentation such as data sheets or operating instructions can be found here, along with spare part documentation and spare part information. You could also get work instructions or assembly instructions directly from KUKA Xpert. Or even some software information or programming examples, programming instructions that you could use in your own project. And there's even our case database, which can be searched. If you have experienced any type of problem, you can basically put in your symptoms and search the case database to see if there are already registered cases like your own, and also then find possible causes to that. Now, KUKA Xpert is, as I already mentioned, part of my.kuka, so you need to log in to my.kuka to get access to that. It's strictly a web application. It's not an app. And before we start, we should mention that there are actually two versions or two levels of KUKA Xpert. There is something called KUKA Xpert Basic, which is free for all our registered my.kuka customers. And that level is free of charge, and you still get most of the needed information that you could expect. You get the product information, the spare part information, we mentioned all the specifications, safety certificates, assembly instructions, operating and instruction manuals, and even CAD and simulation data downloads. That means that you could actually download a step file of a certain robot, for example. But beyond the KUKA Xpert Basic, there's also something which is a KUKA Xpert Full license, which is connected with a cost of 540 euros per year, but that gives you also significantly more as a user. I talked a little bit earlier about the case database. That is part of the KUKA Xpert. Some really functional descriptions and guidelines for both operating, installing, and maintaining your equipment from KUKA. And actually, also there's quite a lot of finished or prepared downloads of code and configurations for you directly to use in your project. So 540 euros, and then you get all this extra, which basically saves you a lot of engineering time, a lot of downtime, and a lot of maintenance time. But you reach the KUKA Xpert in my.kuka, as I mentioned, and it's one of the cloud software points here. So you can go into KUKA Xpert, as there's a ton of information inside there. It actually needs some practice to find around because the information's there, but sometimes it could be difficult to find it. So I suggest to anyone that haven't tried KUKA Xpert to do that first in the KUKA Xpert Basic without. When you feel comfortable, then request a free of charge 30-day trial license for the KUKA Xpert, the full KUKA Xpert, and then you could see what further, and at the end of the day, decide what level of KUKA Xpert is the right for you. So let's have a look at KUKA Xpert, how it looks in the real world, so to speak. So hang on a second. So the link, if you don't go through, is expert.kuka.com. I now log in under my username, so I get the full version of KUKA Xpert. And the first thing that happens is that you actually get the latest news and the updates, what's new articles that's put into. And this is measured since last time you logged in as well. And then it's important to learn the basic structure of KUKA Xpert. And obviously we have a search field here, and where I've searched for a few topics, as you can see, but I will back out from where we were and state that obviously we have a language setting, which is of interest to us. But then I would ask you to look at the left side, because here is the basic information structure to find your way around here. And it's divided into main parts. The first part here is product oriented. And I can expand it. That means that I here put in a selection, a filter of what type of product I'm after. So in this case, let's say I'm interested in a mobile robots, a mobile platform, and I am interested in a KMP, a 1500, for example. That means that all the information is now filtered for the KMP. But there is also a main information group which focuses on information type. That means that the information is divided down into different classifications. And for example, under downloads, we can find CAD data download, and in this case, a step file of the KMP 600 in this case. And when I go into a certain file, let's say this step file, I get a new field to the right hand, which says, okay, I'm now in the case database. So this was a poor example compared to what I did this morning. So I'll just back up. And let's say we are not so interested in the KMP anymore. But instead of a standard robot, a IonTech 70 kilos robot, for example. And here we will find a lot of step files, and I'm not so much interested in the step files any longer because I've already downloaded it. Now I'm more interested in the documentation of it. for example, the assembly instructions. And we find that information here. And again, we get this field to the right where the expert database tries and help us to provide, okay, we were obviously interested in the IonTech, so we get the product tree for that here as well. So I have a quick link to the search links of different types of information connected to that product here. And here we have more information than we had on the mobile platform, so we also get more information. So here I could find the data sheets, for example, directly here. And the observant partner here has also viewed that these tabs have changed here. I'm not any longer in the search field, but in the workspace field. And that workspace field shows me my history of where I've been. So if I need to jump backwards, I find these quick links right here. Also make it easier to find your way around here. Are there any questions around this so far? No. Either I'm extremely clear or totally incomprehensible. The best thing I can do is actually to recommend everyone to play around, search for information here to get a grip of how to handle these two main structures to apply the correct type of filters. A few headlines are, in my opinion, a little bit not really self-explanatory. So as downloads, that's where you will find such as the drawings, step files. There is also some help to get here. There is something called brief instructions. That is quite useful to use and learn how to set your search criteria and find your way around here. It's actually quite helpful. There is also a FAQ, but also an release notes tab, which shows us what major news at what time has come, because this is obviously constantly updated and new information, new features are put in here. So, any wise user would keep an eye on that. What's happening? What are the news? And we appreciate all our users' input to improve this. So again, my absolute best recommendation is to try on your own. Look for the information you're interested in concerning your own to see what you will find here. Because like any tool at any big component suppliers, there's a lot of information, but you need to get some experience to find your way around. If you have difficulty for this, don't hesitate to contact us and we will help you find the information you need here. That basically concludes our introduction of KUKA Xpert and the two levels of KUKA Xpert. As before, we thank you for your attention. We welcome any questions. We really wish that you get back to us with any wishes for topics for future webinars, and we will do our utmost to meet those wishes. Otherwise, we do wish you a fantastic day